Marcus Disse. He took me to a site where they have clearly identified this is the safe distance where you can dig a tube well and you can use it. Okay, they clearly delineate the boundaries of the safe water usage. But in India, we are still missing this. Alright, so that is why groundwater contamination modeling is really important. But what are the challenges? The challenges are how to quantify the heterogeneity of the porous medium. We all know that the soil is composed of majorly silt, clay, sand and gravel, right? But how do we quantify that into the model? I hope by this small presentation time, at least you will be having an idea after the presentation. And since the soil particles are different, how these different kind of chemicals will react to the particular soil type. For example, chloride or sodium chloride or arsenic or lead, all these chemical species will be having different reactions, rate limited reaction with different kind of particles. With silt, it will be reacting with a different rate. With sand, it will be reacting at a different rate. So that is also very important to establish while building a precise groundwater contamination modeling. So basically these are the pollution sources. We all are familiar with it. We all see in the daily life that what are the pollution sources. Alright, some of them are the point sources, some of them are the non-point sources. For example, an agriculture field where you are applying the fertilizers, chemical fertilizer will be a non-point source. And a septic leakage would be a point source where you can identify and precisely establish the coordinate of it. Then how do we quantify the heterogeneity? So there are two types of heterogeneity, okay, for a groundwater model. One is physical heterogeneity and second one is chemical heterogeneity. Physical heterogeneity is a combination of different soil particles where the groundwater flow is taking place. Okay, so what happens? Like all the students, okay, if there is an easy course, you would go for the easy course, not for the difficult course. So water will also follow the path of the higher permeability region where the pores are interconnected, very well interconnected. But as soon as comes, let's say silt or clay layer, where it is highly resistive to the flow, it will try to divert the path, alright, and that becomes the prominent reason for the preferential flow. This is not the phenomena only for the saturated, but this is also occurring in the unsaturated region and near root zone depth also. Then comes the chemical heterogeneity. Like I mentioned, the different chemicals will be reacting with a different rate for the different soil type. These are the porosity classification. So there are 6 classification broadly. So like well sorted, poorly sorted, and mix of the fractures and pebbles. Alright. Then this is a broad physical classification of the finer fraction to the coarser fraction. Okay. So you must be aware that majorly we go for like very fine, medium and coarse kind of classification. But there are a number of classification which goes on. But what happens to these classification, like if these are the pores where the flow is taking place, alright. In the well-graded media, it will find an easy path and you can apply the Darcy law, Q is equal to KIA, where you have one permeability, one hydraulic gradient, alright. But as soon as there are different pores, okay, with different openings, you cannot apply this law that easily, alright. For that, I am going to play a video. So let me first brief about this animation, that what is this animation is. This is a block or sand aquifer in 2 dimensions. This is a silt layer which I generated in the Hydrus model. Okay? And this is sand layer, this is silt layer. Let's see what happens to the flow. So I'll get out of it just a second, because here it will take some time. So clearly identify after some time that there will be a silt layer and all the moisture is avoiding it initially and going from the other path. This is called preferential path. Alright. This is a moisture movement. Alright. Now here comes the pressure. Oh sorry, this was the moisture, earlier one was the pressure. This is the soil moisture movement. So you see that this all is moist at one time, like the water content is continuously increasing, but still we can identify that in the silt region this has increased rapidly. Now okay, let me skip it little bit. This is actually the value of the velocity profiles. Okay, that how the velocity gradient, what is the value of the velocity which is moving in the other directions. So these are the velocity values. In the next in the sequence, you will get to know that how